Everyone is here. Your dad, your mom, if you're still lucky to have both, your siblings, and it's a beautiful day. It's the day that they have been waiting for the last like 22 years, and finally it's here. So everyone is here to celebrate you, including yourself. Hi, my name is Eddie and you are on our diary pages, and today we want to talk about this, should I call it an elusive subject, something we should be talking about quite often, but nobody bothers to mention it. And it's the question, after graduation, what next? And to make these topics a little bit interesting for the day, let me take you back a few years. My dad is holding my hand and he's taking me to school, my first day at school, and I'm quite excited. I am thinking, after all this long wait, long wait is like how many years? 4, 3? So I'm finally going to join school. I have, fellow kids there. Everyone is shouting around. There seems to be a lot of life around here. And everybody is quite excited. So I am going to join this group. Finally, I'm going to start learning. I'm going to start playing with fellow boys. I'm going to start chasing them after the ball. And it's all excitement. Then we get into class. We are grouped. We are placed in our different classrooms. And we start chatting. We start making noise. We start singing. And then the teacher comes in. And the first order of the day, the first law of the day is sit down and shut up. Isn't it shocking? Because I thought, this is a safe space. We are supposed to explore. We are supposed to jump up and down. We are supposed to make as much noise as we can. Because after all, we are all the same. Our heights are maybe all the same. So we are supposed to be having a lot of fun. But here comes the teacher, most of the time a lady, and she will tell you to sit down and shut up. So that is when we realize that the first building block has been taken away from our imaginary castle of creativity, of building this kind of life that we want. So the first block in that castle is usually taken away when you receive your first order of sit down and shut up. We don't care what you know. We don't care what your creativity is all about. This space is supposed to be silent. Okay, we follow the rule and we go on. So life at school goes on. We get to learn the alphabet. We get to sing the nursery rhymes. And life seems to be going on well. We make friends, we get to know each other. And as we progress into, higher classes and we start to learn more, it gets to a point where examinations and tests, the serious ones for this matter, are introduced. And then the second rule comes, or the second law comes, and you're told you're supposed to sit for these exams on your own. No collaboration, no networking. Don't ask anybody any question. Just stare at your paper, pick your pen, and write whatever you think or you know is right on that piece of paper. And whatever marks you get at the end of the day will determine just how smart you are. And to me, that was the second block that was taken from my castle. The castle that I was building that is called my life. That was the second block. You realize my castle is growing weaker at this point. Then we proceed. We continue learning more. And as the classes get more serious, as we climb higher, you get to a point where you want to ask questions in class. Sometimes you studied ahead and there is something you want to ask, depending on which school you went to. I went to public schools mostly. So you'd raise up your hand and ask a question. And The teacher will give you an answer. Sometimes you'll feel like you're not satisfied. You'll ask again. And he or she will give you another answer. And this time you might have to take it the way they have said it. Whether it's correct or it's wrong, you'll have to take it the way it is given to you. Because rule number 3 is that the teacher is always smart. The teacher knows it all. You're supposed to sit there, consume and absorb what the teacher tells you. And in some instances, during the test that I had mentioned, if you give a response contrary to what your teacher had taught in class, then most of the time you get a fail. Why? Because you have given your teacher an answer that he or she was not expecting. And so you're a failure. So fast forward to the university. Long story short, fast forward to the university. You report on your first day. You're called a freshman or a fresher. Report on your first day. You're accompanied by, your family members, dad, mom, or siblings. They bring you here. They get you registered and they drop you there. Life is not as bad as on your first day of high school. At the university is quite interesting. Everybody is in civilian clothing. The environment looks beautiful. You have some money in your pocket. And for the first time, you're stepping out into this kind of freedom. Freedom that you never thought you would have back in high school. So you get to know new people immediately. You create new friends. For those who are quick into romance, you get your girlfriend, you get your boyfriend, and you kick it off immediately. And the next 4 years of your life is a series of getting to, a series of shocks, cultural, academic, religious, all these things, they come at you all at once because you meet people from diverse backgrounds, you meet people from diverse religions, and all these people are here and everybody is trying to exercise their freedom for the first time. So you might get a clique of friends, some of whom you'll survive with to your 4th year, and maybe some of them end up as lifelong friends. But that is not always the case. Sometimes others drop off because of early pregnancies, disease, death, all these things happen at campus. And you might have started with a group of 4 and only the 2 of you will graduate. And then comes this beautiful day, the day that all of us have been waiting for, the date of your graduation. It doesn't matter what you have scored. Is it first class, second upper, pass? No. On that day, it doesn't matter that much. All that matters is we have made it to the end, all of us. So on that day, you receive your gown and this beautiful cape. This is my undergraduate cape. Apparently, we purchased this, so I still have it up to now. I remember the day. So you put on this and you get your pictures taken and the pronunciation done, first class honors so-and-so, second class upper, and then the rest. And once that pronunciation is made, you throw away, you toss your cape up, and as it goes up, you see your life in the future. Whatever you're studying, you see yourself in this high-paying job. You see yourself receiving this salary. You see yourself delivering all these promises you had for your parents. Perhaps you are coming from a difficult background and you told yourself, once that degree is here, I'm going to change the lifestyle in my family. And then this cape comes down and you hold it. And the moment you hold it like this, that is the moment reality dawns on you. Because that is the moment you'll see some of your friends for the last time. You'll never meet again. That is the time the freedom you had, the free money that you used to receive, The late nights you used to spend with friends doing nothing, that is the day they come to an end. And then all of you depart. Now, this is where the bitter truth comes. As soon as you depart, some of us go into jobs immediately because they had jobs waiting for them. And that is a reality. Okay? Some of us go into jobs immediately, and they are not just jobs, they are serious jobs. They go there immediately, they start working, they start earning seriously. And in the next 1 year, they have bought these classic vehicles. They have nice cars. They're living in, posh neighborhoods. They are networking with people in heavy places, and their life seems to be moving on quite fast. For those who want to get married, they have already gotten these beautiful men and women, and they are married. And in the next 3 years, they are starting to grow their families, and life to them is beautiful. It's smooth, it's easy. And then comes this second group that will take a little bit longer, but they have some networks here and there. And soon enough, after a year or two, they are placed somewhere. It could be that they are lucky. It could be that they have networks, or it could be that they just push themselves harder. And in a short time, they find themselves in places they wanted to be. And then there comes you and I. Our parents are not connected. We don't have these networks. We don't know anybody. Our friends at campus were people like us from deep down in the village with no connections. And we have to struggle it, a block after another. You start with year 1, nothing comes. Year 2, 5. The 5th year, the 6th year, nothing. At this point, your hopes are shattered. The woman or the man you thought you'd marry or get married to moved on. You're left there thinking. Life has changed a lot. Your parents are aging. Time is not waiting for you. You're not growing any younger. And at this point, desperation starts to seep in. And to some people, desperation starts as early as the 2nd year. So desperation starts to come in. And social media, especially Instagram, has made it worse because you log in and you see some of the people you left in first year graduating and getting jobs. Maybe you graduated in 2016. You see someone who graduated in 2022 getting a job and you're still there. You're wondering what is happening. And it's not easy. So today I want us to ask, when this happens, what next? What should we do? Because remember at school, you were taught to sit down and shut up. Take your tests alone. Sorry, do not ask questions. Do not network. Do not ask for help. And most of the time, you are taught that there is only one right answer to a specific problem. So today, I want you to know that as much as school is good, but look at these things. Look at it in real life. Is it possible to sit down and shut up? How do you succeed if all you do is sit down and shut up? In real life, when you are faced with a problem, would it be practical to sit alone and try to solve it on your own? When you're facing tests in life, when you're facing temptations, when you're facing these serious problems, would it be practical for you to sit down and solve them on your own without talking to your neighbor, without networking, without asking for guidance and assistance from your neighbor? How practical is that? And again, in real life, is there only one solution to a specific problem? Does it mean if the problem you're facing is joblessness, does it mean the only solution to that is finding a job? And I think that is the answer to, after graduation, what next? Because you are taught that to solve a specific mathematical problem, then there is a certain formula that you must apply to it. And then there is a specific answer, so that if you get a decimal away from that answer, most of the time you'd be wrong. But in real life, does it mean if I'm not employed after graduation, like I am done? Does it mean if I'm not able to find formal employment after graduation, then I am done? Because if there is only one right formula to finding an answer to a problem, and that answer must be specific, then it means the solution to my joblessness is finding formal employment, so that if I miss on formal employment, then I have nothing else to do with my life. And that is why most university graduates will spend, me included, and I feel sorry for myself because I spent so many years sending out my CV, because that is the only formula I was familiar with. That is the only formula my parents were familiar with. That is the only formula people around me were familiar with, you see? So we only had one formula, like sit down, craft a CV, send it out to as many companies as possible. The most painful part is you'd get a regret. Let me say the best part. The best part is you'd get a regret. The most painful part is most of these responses were silent responses. You don't get a regret. You don't get an appreciation. You don't even get an auto-generated email telling you that, yes, we received your application. All you get is silence. And sadly enough, these can go on for a very long time. And because you are trained to only have one solution to a specific problem, then your solution to joblessness has always been to search for a job. My friend, you have been doing this for the last 5 years. How many more years do you want to keep on looking for a job? Let's do a simple mathematics. Every time guys are graduating, every time a single university is graduating, they churn out about 2,000 graduates on the lower side. Multiply this by, let's say 30 universities. You get about what? 60,000 graduates? I was not good in math. Is it 60? Okay, I'll do the math later. But it's about 60,000 graduates. So you can imagine in any specific year, in a small country like mine, 60,000 people are graduating every year. Multiply that by 5 years. How many people have graduated since you left university? So you can imagine all these people are waiting for the same job as you. Nobody is creating any new jobs. Nobody is creating any new opportunities. All of you are chasing after an opportunity that was created in 1963. And the person who was employed there in 1964 retired recently. So you can imagine how many people graduated since 1963. We are now in 2023, up to now, that were waiting for that specific position. So it's crazy. So how about, instead of sticking to our one formula, how about we take life as a risk and try to do something with the hope that it will go well? Sometimes you will lose, sometimes you win, but that's life. It is better than sitting around and hoping that somebody will see value in you and employ you. Most of the time it doesn't happen. So how about you take a different perspective? If you've been sending out CVs and resumes, and for the last couple of years you have not been getting the response you want, how about you step out of that formula that you are made to believe that is the only answer and look at other ways that you can get an answer? As much as it is different from the answer you expected, but it is an answer. It is workable. It can take you places. And my formula was to learn new skills that would make me sellable. And I decided to take on photography and filmmaking. And behind me, right here, this is a Kalasha International Award way back in 2018, I won a Kalash Award for the best short film. And you know what my major in school was? I majored in finance. Yes, I majored in finance. I sent out resumes, I did all that, but when no answer was coming, I picked up a camera. It's a hobby I had had for quite some time. But then I thought to myself, I have been a hobbyist of these things, but I think I can take it deeper. So I learned a new skill. I honed my skill. I sharpened my skill and I became a photographer and filmmaker. And years later, I was there earning this award. And from that moment, I think my world just changed. I dropped my finance. Yes, I have my degree. I have my certificates. They're not worthless because in some circumstances, I always mention that, I have a degree in this and it earns me some points. So if you're going through school, don't stop. Take it to the end because that certificate is worthy. But I'm saying, once you have it, do not sit and wait for it to serve you because in most cases, it will not. So get something, build a skill, build a high value skill. And to me, that was photography and film. And my camera has taken me to places. I have one right here. This is a Nikon D5600. It's a nice camera. It's the one I used to use mostly for my shoots. Right now, I am recording on a Sony A7 IV. God has blessed me that far. So to me, photography has paid. Film has paid. And as we speak, I am thinking of going deeper into having a media house of my own in one of the cities in Kenya, just to get into creating adverts for corporates and stuff like that. And I'm looking forward to employ more people. I'm looking forward to expand and employ more people. So if you've been in that space where you think your certificate is the only thing that will create you that lifestyle, and so far it has not worked for you, then it is time to change that formula. So my answer to after graduation, what next? My answer to that is after graduation, change that formula because it's not going to work for you. Change that formula. Pick a way that works, okay? Do not sit down and shut up. Get out and speak. Talk to people. There is something we call social capital. Social capital is the person you know and the person that the person you know knows. How many people do you know? And in your social circle, if you say you have a business, how many people can buy from you? That is what we call social capital. Go out, do not sit and keep quiet. Go out, talk, network, get to know people, ask them what they do. How did they do that? How did you come to this place? How did you build this business? What are the challenges you went through? The answers they give you will become a blueprint to you creating something similar. To rule number 2, that you have to take your tests alone. It is not possible. Network with people. Ask questions. Tell people about your problems. Listen to people's problems. Then develop a formula that works. Third rule, that the teacher knows everything and the answer that the teacher gives you is what works. Wrong. The teacher does not know everything. Your parents don't know everything. Your siblings don't know anything. Your professor at the university doesn't know much. Because how many business professors do we have at the university who have never tried running a single business? There are several. So many business professors at the universities who cannot take $1,000 and turn it into a thriving business. Not so many of them. Why? Because they don't have the practical ideas. They cannot turn theory into practice. So yes, they equipped you with the theory. It is now your responsibility to take that theory and turn it into a product that is tangible. Turn it into a service that will give value. So instead of following these rules, instead of, trying to show how good you are with numbers and theory and all that. Go out and create value. Now, this is the last point, and it is the biggest secret I'm giving to you. If you want to thrive, if you want to succeed in the world today, go out and create value. Serve, I call it serve, first serve. First serve people. Let them see the value in what you're providing, and then the money will follow. People like Elon Musk will tell you, if you want to be successful, identify a problem, solve it, and people will pay you for it. In my case, I realized in my country, not so many people are good at documentary filmmaking. Not so many people are good at, producing adverts that sell, and that is a niche that I found. And I have sharpened that skill. I have developed that skill, and I'm scaling it. I'm at the process of scaling it, making it a product that people can rely on. Okay. So the same to you. I know you have that innate ability in you. You have that skill that you've been lying on. You have that talent that you've been sitting on, but you've been depending on your resume. You have been depending on your university degree for far too long. So far, how well has it worked for you? If you got the job, good for you. Keep on. I'm talking to the people who have tried and failed with that certificate. There is another way out. It is not easy. It is not cheap. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is worth the trial. Today's session was not scripted. I was just speaking out my mind, and what time is it? It is about midnight. And I just felt like I needed to put it out there to help you who has been seated there thinking that all is lost. Not all is lost. And if you have enjoyed today's content, I'll be producing more like this. Please, hit the like button and also consider subscribing so that we can be gathering here once in a while and talking about these issues that nobody else wants to talk about. We are all about self-development and creating our better selves. Build better versions of us. I can call them version 2.0 of us. And we want to make it so serious that by the end of this year, we shall be coming back to these diary pages, reading them, and we shall be like, oh yeah, we have actually moved from point A to point B. And in the comments below, I want you to tell me, for how long have you been sending out resumes? And how well has it worked? And for those of us who are lucky enough to get jobs immediately, how has it been? For formal employment and the salaries. How is that life? Is it something you love? Would you like to get to the side of creatives like me who depend on business full time? And for the professionals in the group, if I have not answered the question well after university, what next? Please, in the comments below, tell us. How would you advise us after graduation? What next? This is a question that needs deeper answers. And if you are a counselor or a psychologist or a career guidance person out there and you like to have, a session where we can sit down, talk about this issue and share it with other people on this platform, I will be so honored to come find you. We can discuss it and we can post it right here for people to learn. And I don't want to keep on rambling. And like I said, today's session was not scripted. It was just straight out on my mind. And I'm glad you've been here up to this point. So let me stop it there for now, and I'll be seeing you in our next session of our diary pages. Be safe.